Every WWE fan's favorite time of year is without a doubt WrestleMania. What used to be simply a wrestling show has evolved into a week-long spectacular, but the very core of WrestleMania is the WWE superstars themselves. The larger-than-life personalities that square off in the squared circle are what bring the screaming fans in by the thousands. With all these WWE superstars on our mind and superheroes constantly on our mind, we couldn't help but wonder what some of these wrestlers would look like sporting a cape and spandex. Just with slightly more capes and spandex. Super kick back and check out our top 10 WWE superstars and the superheroes they should play. And be sure to subscribe to CBR and hit the notify button so you can join the notification squad. Brock Lesnar, Bane. The Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar has an undeniable mystique to him that we think Hollywood could be interested in. When his music hits and he enters the arena, the energy in the air changes. Things become serious. His short UFC background, along with his college days as an NCAA athlete, he's one of the most intimidating and dominating forces in WWE history. But could you imagine Lesnar as Bane? He'd be completely terrifying next to Ben Affleck. Hell, Brock Lesnar's probably had drive-thru orders bigger than Batfleck. It'd finally give the character that imposing stature that the live-action incarnations have always lacked. He'd mostly just need to look scary as hell, which comes to him oh so naturally. Something tells us he could easily pick up The Miz and snap him over his knee like Bane did to Batman. In fact, we'd pay to see that happen to The Miz. Hello? Vince? Is it too late to change the WrestleMania card? Undertaker. The Spectre. Okay, guess this character. He's undead, he's one of the most powerful creatures in the universe, and he's tied to a dark and supernatural power. Did you guess Undertaker? Well, you're wrong. We're talking about the Spectre. After Detective Corrigan is killed, he returns from the dead with a dark and otherworldly power. With their similar abilities, tone, and backstory, it's a no-brainer to have Taker as the Spectre. The only question is, will fans accept Taker in a movie role? The Undertaker is one of the only wrestlers to still adamantly keep kayfabe, not having a Twitter or doing interviews. However, with the character of the Spectre sharing so many roots with WWE's Deadman, and if the film was done right, audiences might really warm up to the idea. Taker has been wrestling for over 25 years, and in that time he created no shortage of fans willing to drop cash to see their favorite undead wizard. Randy Orton, Moon Knight. Moon Knight is a painfully underrated hero. After his untimely death, Mark Spector makes a deal with the Egyptian moon god Khonsu. He agrees to become the god's avatar on Earth in exchange for another chance at life. However, the deal leaves Mark in a less than perfect mental state. Much like the apex predator Randy Orton, Moon Knight is prone to fits of madness. Teams like the Avengers or Evolution may pop up and welcome these guys initially, but before too long, the instability shows itself and these dangerous heroes are liable to snap at a moment's notice. Orton has already made a few WWE Studios films such as Condemned and 12 Rounds, as well as the USA series Shooter, so it wouldn't surprise most fans if he RKO'd himself right into a Marvel franchise. Randy and Moon Knight even both have a background in the United States Marine Corps. Yet another sign that this matching is perfect. AJ Styles, Guy Gardner. If you follow wrestling outside of the WWE, then you already know the name AJ Styles. And if you didn't, it didn't take him long to make sure you never forgot it. Styles had a hell of a first year with the company, holding the belt for a few months and being the top guy on SmackDown Live. If you look at the Green Lantern Corps as a metaphor for the WWE, then Hal Jordan certainly has a face that runs the place vibe, much like Cena did. Jordan was the franchise, so much like Gardner, Styles feels he rightfully deserves that spot. It's hard to ignore their shared traits of arrogance, jealousy, and generally brash decisions, and we think that they represent a lot of what makes each other great. And although their egos are dangerously large, they get results. Guy does well when the heat is on, and AJ's proof is in the Bullet Club pudding. Kevin Owens, Grey Hulk. Arguably the biggest bully in all of Marvel, Grey Hulk should be played by arguably the biggest bully in the world, Kevin Owens. What little bit Grey Hulk lacks in strength compared to Green Hulk, he more than makes up for in intelligence and dark wit. See, Grey Hulk and Green Hulk wage a constant battle to see who emerges when Banner becomes angry, and when Grey Hulk prevails, Bruce can speak in full English and retain intelligence. However, he's much more vicious, choosing to be more calculating than savage. This should remind you of a certain prizefighter, Kevin Owens. Owens is a vicious heel, a ruthless bruiser who isn't afraid to cheat, lie, and insult his way to victory. The combination of Owens' devastating size compared with his cruiserweight-inspired style always gets him over with the crowd. Finn Balor, Venom. The Demon King himself, Finn Balor's signature body paint along with his top-shelf skills in the ring has made him a fast-rising star in the WWE. A former NXT champion and the first Universal champion, we're sure WWE wouldn't mind having a future face of the company getting some screen time in a Spider-Man movie. Balor is a massive comic book fan and has painted himself as the Joker and Venom, just to name a couple. However, the biggest reason Balor made this list is his ability to play a huge range of characters. The cool, calm, leather jacket-loving Finn Balor is a stark contrast to the brooding, crawling, animalistic Demon King he's sometimes forced to become. This range that Senior Balor can use is perfect for the role of Venom. When the symbiote attaches itself to Eddie Brock, he goes through an intense character change, and who better to handle that duality than a guy who is half demon? Xavier Woods, Rocket Raccoon. The similarities are just crazy when you think about it. Xavier and Rocket have a ton in common. They're both comic relief for their respective teams, and while not the strongest in hand-to-hand combat, no one would argue that they've got the biggest mouths. Francesca, Xavier's prized trombone, has often been used as a weapon, helping New Day hold on to their tag titles when it seemed utterly hopeless. A lot like Rocket building that weapon from scraps at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy. Both these guys are the scrappy talkers with attitude and the squad to back it up. Plus, Xavier's on-mic delivery is some of the best in the company, so we're confident that he could handle the gig. A massive nerd himself, Woods would probably love to voice the trigger-happy critter, and his YouTube following makes him an even more likely candidate to get the green light. Cesaro, Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter became most popular from being featured on the animated Justice League television show, but has yet to make his big screen debut. His wide variety of powers and deadpan personality made him a fan favorite, sort of similar to Cesaro's insanely deep moveset and suave European attitude getting him over with his own fanbase. The crowd goes wild for the King of Swing, even printing out their own Cesaro section signs. So if he were to cross over into superhero movies, you can bet the whole Cesaro section would head to the theater. Cesaro would be perfect for the character, both physically and in his personality. It's not a far stretch for Cesaro to become John Johns, and we don't think the Swiss Superman would have any issue playing one of the most underrated yet overpowered heroes in history. Maybe with all these powers he could finally grab that brass ring. Becky Lynch, Starfire. Lynch is undoubtedly one of the best women working right now, and arguably one of the best on the roster. The Irish lass kicker is known for her bright hair and goofy sense of humor. Those are perfect traits to give her a shot as Starfire. The quirky alien that many of us fell in love with on the Teen Titans animated show could be a great role for Lynch, as it could allow her to flex her comedic muscles, since her on-screen character hasn't been incorporating comedy for some time. Lynch could possibly play the character similar to former WWE superstar Batista's portrayal of Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. The fans would love to see Becky use her funny bone again, even if it's outside of the WWE. John Cena, Superman. You all saw this coming, right? Well, it's cause it's true. Critical fans have called John Cena Super Cena for years, and they hate on him for all the same reasons people hate on Superman. He's a goody two-shoes, he shrugs off beatdowns, he takes the stakes out of everything because he never loses. Criticize all you want, but Cena carried the company on his back and put on some amazing matches, including his 5-star match with CM Punk. However, as of late, it would appear that Cena has been preparing for life outside the ring and inside of Hollywood. He hosted the Kids' Choice Awards, was in several feature films, as well as his own reality show, and his military-inspired competition American Grit, so it wouldn't be a shock at all to hear Hollywood come knock at John's door with a cape and the keys to the Fortress of Solitude. With WrestleMania on the horizon, make sure you share this list with all your friends. What did you think of our picks? Did we talk about one of your favorite superstars? What are some mashups you thought of? Let us know in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed our list, and if you did, make sure to like this video and subscribe to CBR for more videos like this one.